Hello, hello. We are on Chapter 12, The Magic of Math, Making Smart Guesses. And this is the code for Level 3. Just a few reminders. Make sure that you have your problems in front of you, a pencil, an eraser, and then also you can fast forward to whichever problem you need. I'm going to start with number 1. Let's take a look. Buffy is trying to figure out how long her 18-mile bike trip will take. The first 2 miles of the trip took 20 minutes. How many hours will her 18-mile trip take? Okay, so the first thing I notice is that we have some different labels in this problem. I see that she's going to be going 18 miles and that the first 2 miles took her 20 minutes. I also see that the question asks us how many hours the 18-mile trip will take. And there's Einstein giving us a hint. I bet you even know this one. Did you know that there are 60 minutes in an hour? Okay, so let me write down some important information. I know that 2 miles takes 20 minutes, okay? And it's asking, well, her trip is 18 miles. So how many hours would that be? I think I'm going to start by figuring out the minutes. So I need to know how many times does 2 fit into 18? Well, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. 2 goes into 18 9 times. So 2 times 9 is 18. So I need to figure out what 9 20s are. So if I counted by 29 times, I know that 5 20s make 100. 10 20s would make 200. So that must mean that 9 20s would mean 180 minutes. I have to be careful though because the question does not ask me for minutes, it asks how many hours will the trip take. Well, if 60 minutes are 1 hour, another 60 minutes would bring me up to 120 minutes. See if you can finish that. I bet you can. Let's take a look at number 2. Janet bought a bag of 1,000 jelly beans. There were 3 colors in the bag. Janet was trying to guess how many of each color were in the bag, so she took out 100 jelly beans and counted each color. So out of that 100, she found 20 were green, 5 were red, 75 were blue. How many red jelly beans do you think are in the bag of 1,000 jelly beans? So the question is asking me how many red jelly beans in the bag of 1,000. And I can set this up like a proportion. And a proportion, remember, it's just comparing 2 things that have a similar relationship. So let's go back to what we know she pulled out. She pulled out 5 red out of 100. So if there's 5 red out of 100 jelly beans, I have to use that same relationship over here. So 5 out of every 100 are red. I know that there are 10 hundreds in 1,000. So 10 groups of 5 would be my answer. Number 3. After Ricky saw lightning, it took 7.5 seconds for the thunder to reach his ears. How far away is the storm? Okay, so I believe that there was a tip on level 2. Let me peek here. There's a tip on level 2 that you're going to need for that. Hold on just a minute while I go get my level 2. I'm back. The tip is actually in level 1. In level 1, Einstein tells us that it takes sound 5 seconds to travel 1 mile. Well, it took 7.5 seconds. So how far away is the thunder? I like this question because it's combining the work that we just did with fractions. So if I were to double 5, in 10 seconds it would go 2 miles, but that's too long. We need 7.5 seconds. I know that the difference between 5 seconds and 7.5 seconds is 2.5 seconds. I also know that 2.5 is half of 5. See if you can use that tip to help you. Let's take a look at number 4. Jose needed 90 apples for his birthday party, but every box of apples he bought had a lot of rotten apples in it. When he bought a box of 40 apples, 10 were rotten. If Jose wants 90 good apples, how many boxes of apples should he buy? Okay, so he needs 90 apples. I'm going to circle that. That information's pretty important. And then I'm going to jot down that out of a box of 40, 10 are rotten. So how many good apples? Oh, and this is 1 box. I'm going to put that off to the side. So how many good apples are in that box? I think if you figure that out, it will help you know how many boxes he needs to buy to get to his 90 apples. Number 5, Ed runs 75 yards in 12 seconds. If he runs at the same speed, how much time would it take Ed to run 100 yards? Okay, so my important information, 75 yards in 12 seconds. And we want to know how long it would take to run 100 yards. So if I look at 75 and 100, I notice that both of these numbers are multiples of 25. There are 3 25s in 75. There are 4 25s in 100. So if I can figure out how long it would take him to run 25 yards, I could add that on to the 12 seconds and get my answer. See if you can figure that out. Good luck.